everybody. Welcome to Weve Denver's live Facebook chat and a conversation. My name is Jsshra. This is my friend Steph. I've been on staff for 2.5 years now. How long have you been here?
About 5.
5.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah. And so today we're going to be talking about the joy and contentment that the Lord has for us in a season like this. It could be a little bit difficult. We've all had conversations about what it looks like to not be able to be content in a season like this when a lot of things are being ripped away from us. And so we're just going to have a little discussion, a little chat about that. Yeah,
it's going to be good. So what has the Lord been teaching you, Josh, since quarantine happened, since all of this went down?
Yeah, for me, one of the things that the Lord has been teaching me or speaking to me a lot in this season is just how we aren't spending the time, taking the time to rest and to enjoy the time that we have right now. Like last night, Liz and Jessica were talking about resting in the Lord and in His presence, and that was something really dear and true because in American culture we're very busy, and we have a long list of things we have to get done. You know, we all have, not me, but other people have their kids and their husband and their families to take care of, and they have a long list of bills to pay. But I think it's just during this season it showed us what is truly important and the things that we need to focus on in this time. Like, what have you learned in this time?
Oh gosh, I feel like I've learned so much. I think a big thing for me was just learning how to be content and just joyful in the Lord, even when there's not much going on. I know, at least for me, I thought a lot about, if you just have the perfect house or the perfect family or the perfect this and that, we get caught up with the things that we don't have, that we forget to take, or we take for granted the things that we do have. And I think for me personally, the Lord's just been really challenging me about how, obviously we all know that things like that can be stripped away so easily, and it's like, what is it that is driving your life? Like, what is the purpose behind your life? And is Jesus really the center?
Yeah.
And are you really living for Him, or are you living for the materialistic things that you can get, the new phone, the new this, the new that? And I just realized, wow, like those things really don't bring contentment. And actually, there is contentment and joy to be found in the Lord. And actually, we just, as Christians and as believers, I think, forget that sometimes. And so I know for me personally, He's just been reminding me of like how amazing He is and how much joy there is to be found even in the simple things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and that was one of the things I was also like chewing on, was just like, where does my joy come from? And it's like, we've all placed our joy and our happiness in having these things, and then when a pandemic happens and it's all ripped away from you, your stocks, your life source of money is all gone, and it's very stressful. It's an extremely stressful situation, but knowing and trusting and seeing the joy and finding that, even though things don't always look like a rainbow like we expect it to look, and just knowing that God is someone who's always there for us, and He'll show you joy in the little things. Like on my outreach in Indonesia many months ago, the Lord was just able to show me His joy, because there was this one time we were doing ministry and we're on the beach doing dramas, dancing, embarrassing yourself for the Lord, and no one wanted any prayer, no one came for the altar call, and it was just really discouraging as like a DTS student being an outreach, and they're like telling you like you're gonna see all these incredible things, and then when you're not seeing all these incredible things and stuff happening in a way that you expect it to, like, what are you gonna do in that time? And so I remember just asking the Lord, like, okay, what do you want from me in this time? Because that's something really important. It's like, what does the Lord want for us in this time? Like, what does He want us to do with this extra amount of time that we have? And in that time, He just asked me to sit and pray, and that's what I did. I just sat and I prayed, and I got so much joy in sitting and just asking the Lord, like, what do you want me to pray about? Who do you want me to pray for? And it was just a real time where I got to have fun with the Lord and just sit there on the beach while everybody else was doing dramas. But I was interceding for them. I was still a part of the ministry. But it was just something different. It doesn't always look the way we want it to look.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think, oh man, like I was thinking about outreach experiences for me, and just the importance of like our attitude in the midst of disappointment. Like you can't always control your circumstances, like the hardships that are happening around you. but you can like control your attitude. I remember I was in Mexico on my outreach, and there was this family, and they had never seen the ocean. They lived in this tiny little house. There was like 8 people, and the roof was falling apart, and they literally looked like they had nothing. But I watched the kids, and they were just so happy that we were there. They were just so happy playing games together. And this is people that you think, well, how can you be happy and content? You don't have anything, really. But yet they were able to find just so much joy and happiness in their life. And I remember coming away just like really moved. I was crying for a little bit because I was sad for them, but then I realized, man, but they don't see it that way. I think that they're lacking so much because I know better, but to them, they're just so happy in just playing with one another. I did it!
Good job, Steph.
Sean from Red Rocks did that at a Sunday service, and we were laughing about it, and so
No, how could you?
I got tongue-tied. Anyway, yeah, I'm just reminded of just the fun that you can have when you choose it, when your attitude is just good towards things. So I think in this pandemic, wow, really well here.
Really great. Keep going.
In this pandemic, I'm just learning a lot about contentment, about joy, and about choosing it and having a good attitude. So yeah, I think it's really important. So,
What have you been able to find joy in this season doing?
ooh, good question.
You're welcome.
For me personally, just being outside, having really nice walks with my
Seriously.
housemates who we've spent tons of time together.
Yeah,
really
it's been great.
Yeah, it's been really fun. So we've been kind of blessed because we live with quite a large number of people, so we're not bored for sure. We've got loads of interesting things to talk about, and we're just out and about and stuff, which has been really good. Joshie and I have been making sourdough,
Yeah.
which has been really fun. So yeah, just joy in baking, joy in cooking, doing art, dreaming about potentially the future and like what that holds. I think for me, God's really ignited like fresh vision for things and really sparked creativity in me again, because I think for me that had like died for a little bit. So I've been able to do art and able to create and stuff with him, so that's been really cool. Yeah. What about you? Other than sourdough, obviously.
Other than sourdough. Well, baking, one of the things that's been bringing me a ton of joy is what I've been doing, which I think most people should do. Have a lot of time on your hands. Me and Steph and a couple of our other housemates, we decided that we were going to encourage everyone on our staff and just kind of do, it might sound weird, but like love actions for people, which basically just means doing something nice for them to show them that you care about them and appreciate them. So we take the time to pray for people, get words for them, send them to them, or I would bake muffins, cinnamon rolls. I haven't done those yet. That's next on my list. Or send people bread. It's just like a way to show people that I'm thinking of them and you're not forgotten, because in a time like this, if you're not surrounded by community, it's really easy to get in your head and to think that you're alone, but you're not alone. And that's why I just wanted to show people that we're here for you, and it's just been so much joy to see how happy it makes everybody else. Because I'm like, you're happy now that you have baked goods, and I don't get to eat them, so that's good. It's good.
I feel like you brought up a really good point, actually. I think sometimes joy is found when you take your eyes off yourself, and I think a lot of times we get really obsessed, like what do I need, what's going on with me, and I think, I don't know, we've really learned that actually the more time you spend focusing on the needs of others, actually it just brings you so much life. Like it says in the word that it's more blessed to give than receive, and
that's
like,
what Jesus
believe
said.
that. Yeah.
Like he did that, and it's like I always really love reading the Gospels, just because there's like Jesus. He always, I would say Jesus is like an introvert. There's no facts to that. That's just what I think.
He does leave the people.
He does leave people all the time, and he'd like run away, go to another place, and they would find him. But he would stop what he was doing, and cater to them. And it's like he didn't have to do it. He could ignore them, but it was what the Father was asking him to do. And so like in this time, like what is the Father asking you to do? Like how is he asking you to bless people? And it's like it's been really sweet being able to do that, be the hands and feet in this time, because it's like we are YWAMers, we love people, we're always wanting to go and meet with people one-on-one and talk to them, but we don't have that right now. So it's like, what can we do in this season? And I think that's one of the questions that I've really just been sitting on, it's like, what can I do in this season? I can't hang out with my friends like I normally want to, but what can I do? And like for me, I remember during my biblical school of justice, we had this awesome teacher, Mary Jean. She came and she did this project. I won't give too much away, but I don't know. Let's see. But basically, it was this time where she gave each of us different numbers and different foods. And so if you were table 1, you basically ate like a Westerner. If you were table, or like you would eat like someone who's wealthy, you would eat like someone who doesn't have a lot, and there'd be more people to share your food with. Like I was at the table where we had a bread and a piece of banana to share between 8 people, and the other group, and we were like, sweet, because we didn't eat breakfast. And so you were hungry, but we had so much joy in that time, breaking bread with each other, having conversation, just sharing the little that we had and making it go a long way. And the tables that had a lot of food felt really uncomfortable because they were sitting right next to us, and they had it like strawberries, French toast, eggs, bacon, everything you want. And they were uncomfortable by our joy and the fact that we had so much little, but we had little, but we were happy with what we had. And so it's like bringing back to what you said about finding joy in what we do have and not what we want. And I think, again, that's like something from our culture. It's like we really want all the time. It's just like, oh yeah, I just have to have this next thing to bring me happiness. But, you know, happiness is fleeting, and true joy comes from the Lord, and that's really what we need. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think honestly, like when you think about like just our drive for materialistic things and for all this stuff, I think it just honestly, sometimes it just highlights like a deeper issue in us. Like, why is it that we're craving these things? Why aren't we satisfied with what we have? And I think about the disciples, and they had Jesus, obviously, but so do we. But they didn't have much. They were traveling around doing stuff, and they were perfectly content and happy with what they were doing for the Lord. And it's like, how happy are we with what the Lord's given us and the things that He's asked us to do? Yeah, I don't know. I felt really challenged by that, and I would just really like to challenge you guys with that as well. Like, what is it that is in you that is lacking that you need to ask the Lord for? Because He's really good at meeting our needs when we ask. And sometimes I think that things like this, issues like this of discontentment, just highlight a thing in our hearts that needs dealing with. And so yeah, I just want to encourage you guys, like, dive in and ask the Lord, God, how can you meet my needs? Meet my needs, meet me where I'm at, show me how I can be content and be satisfied and be full of joy, even if the situation around sucks. And I just honestly believe He'll do that for you. He's so faithful to always show up and to always, just meet us where we're at.
What are some tips or pointers for like how to find joy in this time, this season?
Oof, that's a good question.
You're welcome.
I mean, spending time with the Lord seems like an obvious one, but I do think that that's a good place to start. And obviously in the Word is good too. I honestly think some of it is down to attitude. Like, are you choosing to focus on what you don't have, or are you choosing to focus on what you do have? And where are you choosing to put your energy as well? Like, are you putting your energy and your time into things that can maybe help you out in the future? Because we know that, yeah, you can binge watch Netflix for hours, but there's also plenty of things that you can do to prepare you for what's coming. And actually, I honestly believe that if we took the time to pray about it, the Lord would reveal things that are going to come, because He speaks about the future and He speaks to us about what's coming. And I actually think that if we take the time to pray about things, then He might give us a glimpse into what we can expect. I remember listening to Sean Bolt's talk about a prophetic word that he had for, I can't remember, it was somewhere in the world, and the Lord told him that a tsunami was going to happen, I think, or some kind of natural disaster. And so He warned the churches, and they listened. And so actually all the people got out when that happened, and they made sure that they had put insurance on their properties and stuff like that, because the Lord had warned them that it was coming and that actually this is what they needed to do. So they went ahead and did all of that, and then when it took place, they came back with better buildings, and they were all kept safe because they heeded the word of the Lord. And so I totally believe that we have access to a King who knows everything. And actually, if we tap into that and we ask God, what can I expect? How can I prepare for what's coming? I really believe that he'll show us. And I really believe that he'll give us insight into how we need to prepare, how we need to get ready. I just think sometimes we assume that he's not going to say anything, so we don't ask. But I just want to challenge you guys, ask him, because he responds, he speaks, and he loves to talk to his kids. And I just think that he has a lot of things that he wants to say about this time, lots of things that he wants to do in us during this time, and a lot of things that he wants to prepare us for in the future. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? You can answer the same question again. How do you think that you can find joy and contentment in this season?
I think just being, I see like a theme within the topics that we've all been choosing. Elena and Colin talked about wonder. Liz and Jessica talked about rest. And me and Steph were talking about joy. And it's just like, each of these things are kind of flowing into each other. It's like you need to rest. You need to find joy in your rest. You also need to see the wonder that the Lord has for us in the season. I think I've said season like 30 times at this point, but we're pandemic. But it's just been a really, at least for me, and I know for a lot of people it hasn't been the same, but it's been a really sweet season of like a lot of things feeling like it's being taken away from me. I kind of feel like I want to be a toddler and throw a tantrum, but it's unnecessary because your parents kind of know better in that kind of way, you know. Being around a lot of children, you tend to see them like this one little baby that I hang around a lot. He wants to do things that I'm like, this is dangerous, and I know this because I know more than you, and my brain is fully developed, and this will hurt you. But he gets upset, and I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. And it's like the same thing with the Lord wanting to show us stuff, and it goes back to like what Steph was saying, is like we need to just go to him because he knows, ultimately he knows best, and he'll also show you things that you didn't think would bring you joy, but it does. And so it's like, don't always be like, oh well, I'm not gonna enjoy that. Like for me, I never had a heart for children or had a heart for, this might sound weird, but like being compassionate. That sounds so bad, but I don't mean it to be bad. And like over the years, the Lord has matured me and showed me like that is actually my heart. Like that's actually who he's created me to be, is someone who is full of justice, full of compassion for others. And it might not look like every other person out there, but it is what he's built me to be. And I always looked at compassion as like a weakness. It isn't. It is not. But that's how I used to see it before I was redeemed. And just knowing like sometimes what we think that is like a punishment from the Lord is actually something that's going to be really good for us, and that is going to help us in the long run. And so things that I've done to find joy is spending time with the Lord. Like I said, I love cooking and baking, and so I've just been spending a lot more time researching and reading about baking, and like learning how to do sourdough was a ton of fun for me. It's a lot of work, but I figured it out. And just doing those types of things with the Lord, and so I like love cooking and baking with the Lord. It's honestly how my food is always so good. Humble brag. But it's just been like it's just been that's how I find joy. And so how do you find joy in this season? What are you doing to keep your spirits uplifted? Because we can look at the negative. I remember seeing a Facebook post that was like, list all the things that Corona has taken from you. And I commented, and I usually don't comment on Facebook posts because it's just, to me, it's just waste of typing. I was like, how about we say something positive that has come from Corona? And no one responded. They're like, whatever. And I was like, okay. But that's what I want us to do, is just like, what is the positive that we could find in a world full of negativity, and not like in a, none of this is real kind of imaginary way, but in a way that like, what can we find joy from in this season? And not just in some way that we can only look at the negative, or things that we can't have, or things we can't do. Like I love going out to eat. I can't, and I love going out to coffee shops and sitting down and talking with friends for hours, but we can't do that right now. But you know what we can do? We can go on walks, go to a park. You know, everyone was saying that they have goals to work out. Well, now you have the time. Now you have the time. Who knows? You might find joy in working out, and I'm going for a run. I will never find joy in those things, but you might. like Steph loves doing that, but that's just not me. And I like cooking for people and giving them food. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, on that note, is there anything else you want to add? Because we'll probably wrap up.
How will you read the verse and then we give them a challenge?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, we were just looking up a couple of verses on joy. And this one's super simple, but it's 1 Timothy 6:6, and it says, "But godliness and contentment is great gain." And I just really liked both of those things, kind of how they go together, and yeah, just how it is great gain when you are content in the Lord. So yeah, so we'll leave you with that one. Just so you guys know that tomorrow night we have a worship set going down with Andrew and Rachel, and so you guys should definitely tune into that. And in the meantime, we hope you stay safe and have fun.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.